Hello, this is Mrs. Brown, and today we're going to have a brief review of the distributive property. Remember that the distributive property says that if you have a number outside of parentheses and you have a sum or a difference inside, so an addition problem or a subtraction problem, you can either add first and then times by the number on the outside, or subtract first and then times by the number on the outside, or you can distribute that number and do the product of each and then add them together, or do the product of each and then subtract them together. So let's take a look at a couple of basic distributive property problems. So 4 times 3x and 4 times minus 2. So 4 times 3x, 4 times 3 is 12x. 4 times minus 2 is 8, because 4 times 2 is 8, and that subtraction sign remains. That's it. I just distributed. So let's take a look at another example. I've got 2/3 times 18x and 2/3 times 2n. So when I look at this, remember this is like over 1. So I can either do 2 times 18 is 36x divided by 3 is 12x. Or I can say to myself, 3 goes into 18 6 times, and 6 times 2 is 12. Either way, I can either divide the numerator by the denominator and then multiply, or I can multiply and then divide by the denominator. It doesn't matter. It works the same both ways. Here, the denominator 3 doesn't go into 2 evenly, so I definitely want to do 2 times 2 is 4, and I'm going to leave it as 4/3 times n, because this doesn't divide evenly. And you definitely want to leave it like that instead of a repeating decimal. Okay, so let's look at going the other way. We just went from this kind of style to this kind of style. So let's look at when we go the other direction, we call it factoring. Okay, and factoring is looking for a common value that goes into both numbers. So for instance, when I have 36n minus 24, if I want to use the distributive property to rewrite this, I'm going to factor out a common factor. So there's lots of possibilities. I could do 2. And then I divide it. 36 divided by 2 is 18n. 24 divided by 2 is 12. And I just factored it. I could do 6. 36 divided by 6 is 6, so it's 6n. And 24 divided by 6 is 4. I could factor out a negative number, like for instance, negative 4. 4 goes into both 36 and 24 evenly. So 4 goes into 36 9 times, but since I have a negative, it's going to flip the sign. This is positive. It's now going to become negative 9, because negative 4 times negative 9 is positive 36. So I want to be able to get back to this original one. This is a minus 24. 4 goes into 24 6 times, and if this is negative, it's now, or a minus, it's going to come a positive. So that when I do negative 4 times positive 6, I get a minus 24. Let's look at one more of those. So 3 would be another common factor, so I can take out negative 3. 36 divided by 3 is 12. It's positive. Since I'm taking out a negative, I'm going to make it negative 12. This is like a negative 24, a minus 24. So 24 divided by 3 is 8. If that's negative or minus, I want to make it a plus so that when I distribute, I get back to my original. Okay? I hope this helps, and have a great day.